I say! Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good morning. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Happy Friday to you all. Hope you are well, wherever you are calling in from. Sorry, I don't know why I haven't got my headphones on. Wherever you are watching in from, good morning to you. A lovely, lovely sunny day here in Southeast London. What's the news in the last 24 hours? Lots of reports that Tottenham are in the race for signing Trevor Chalobah of Chelsea and Mikel Merino of Real Sociedad, a very, very good midfielder who plays for Spain regularly. Off the back of that, Everton have a takeover has been agreed at Goodison Park for the 777 partners. They've agreed to take over. It's breaking news everywhere this morning. Tottenham have agreed a new deal with the NFL, which will just make Daniel Levy more and more rich. That's what the cynics would say. He'll tell you that it's to help further our on-field activity. Still waiting to see that, Daniel, but hey, it is what it is. By the way, yes, and yeah, Fluffy, El Natural. Yeah, I'm going to get my hair and beard done this morning, so I can't put any product in it because otherwise my barber tells me off. So lots happening, and more importantly than any of that, is the fact that there you go. My wife's just gone out. My wife's going to Peppa Pig World with her nieces this weekend. How lovely. More important than any of that is the Premier League is back. The Premier League is back. Tottenham Hotspur at home to Sheffield United. I don't think you'll find a single Spurs fan that's predicting anything other than a win. I want to say we don't want to put the pressure on, but yes, we do have to put the pressure on. If you want to be a big team, you've got to put the pressure on. You've got to win these types of games. What I'll do is I'm going to read out the statement that Daniel Levy made about the Formula One partnership. And then after that, I'll go through some good mornings. The usual characters are in here. The usual rules apply. Smash the like button. I don't know why we have to keep doing this game every morning where I ask and then all of a sudden they rise. Just smash the like button, people. That would be absolutely wonderful. Big up. Let's have a look. Let me just bring this up. A couple of people have asked if I can unblock them from my channel. I will be giving a few people a second chance, but not if they were really, really stupid. Let me just see if I can. There's a couple of people I did want to unblock, but we'll go through that a little bit later. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Okay. So here is what Daniel Levy had to say about the new partnership with the NFL, which I believe is running until 29-30 season, which is crazy. I mean, these are bigger deals than what you do in football terms. But this is what Daniel Levy, our leader, our owner, has said. He said, our partnership with the NFL has been integral to our wider vision for the stadium and delivering a sports and entertainment destination in London. I'm just going to leave that hanging there for a minute. Our wider, here you go, brilliant, isn't it? Our wider vision for delivering a sports and entertainment destination in London. Let that sink in. This is my best bit. Creating additional recurring sources of revenue to reinvest in our football activities is a key part of the club's financial model. NFL game days at our stadium are special occasions where we see fans from all around the world descend on Tottenham, bringing so much vibrancy to the high road and supporting our local economy. As the NFL continues to grow its fan base throughout Europe, we are extremely proud to be given official status as the home of the NFL in the UK and look forward to seeing excitement that game days bring to Tottenham for many years to come. Discuss. I mean, what do we do with that? Kuva, big up Kuva in the chat. Let me know if you would like to come on. I've got no problems with that at all, my friend. Let me know. We can, hang on, here we go. I'll chuck it to you. If you can come on, then you can. If you can't come on, then you can't. Pretty basics, really, right? What's your name? Kuva. Let's find you. JK. What have I got you on my phone as well? Kuva99, funny enough. There we go. And let me send it. If anyone wants to join, there we go. There we go. There we go. What do we make of that? What do we make of that? It's so strange, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, I get it. I do. I completely get it. I get it. You know, you've got to get revenue into your club. You have to, right? I understand this. And more than ever, I understand this. I've been watching the Newcastle documentary on Amazon Prime, and I understand that, you know, you can only have X amount of losses over 3 years, and that you must bring in additional revenue if you're going to make sure that you don't go into FFP and you spend money accordingly. But Spurs make money. And then when you look at these statements and you think to yourself, okay, so when do we see it? Like, I'm not saying we don't spend money, but let's be fair. Spurs always come out quite well. It's never like we spend 200 million and don't recoup any money. When are we gonna have that and have a transfer window where you go, yeah, they mean it? You know what I mean? Like in January, are we going to turn up and go, there's boom, boom, boom on 3 players, done? Or are we going to play this game? Are we going to do this 7-week bidding like we did for Van der Ven? Or are we going to actually put the money where the proverbial mouth is and actually turn up and do something? I'll come to your comments in a minute. Before we do, lots of people in the chat. Good morning to you. Good morning to Vinny Rowley. Hope you're well, sir. Good morning to Tigaro, the single parent theory. Big up to you. Another 3 points for the Sheffield United game, we hope. Phil Moss is in the chat. Big up to you. Scott Colliver, 3 channel members there in a row, by the way. Scott Colliver is in the chat as well. Good morning to you. By the way, I'm just putting the link to, if anyone would like to subscribe, into the chat. It's been very, very tough for some, honestly, as a YouTuber, especially when this is your full-time job. This has been a real slog the last 2 weeks, a real slog that makes you really think about whether or not this can be done full-time. Hey, that's a Savva problem and no one else problem. But look, the link is in the chat. If anyone would like to subscribe, then there it is in the chat, posted at 10:13. Good morning to Leo Land Lego. Good morning to Proud to be a Geordie. Savva wore black yesterday. No, we're going for black again today. Good morning to Kate, who's in the chat. Good morning. So morning, my friend. Hope all is good with you. Enjoyed you on Shelf Side. Yeah, what a crazy, crazy world that is on Shelf Side. Love all the guys on there. But I did need to lie down afterwards. Andy Grant asking about injuries. I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything that would suggest we've got any injuries. Doesn't mean we haven't. I just haven't seen anything to suggest that. The videos are out of the Spurs players at training today. I've not seen any. I've not seen anything. But let me know if you have. Absolutely. The Crispy Cockerel said, morning, Savva. So happy that we're back to the Premier League. I think everyone is my man. Everyone is. Billy Andrews in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. He doesn't care about the score, just getting the 3 points. I agree with you. Sorry, I can feel my hay fever. I can feel it. There, kind of about. Good morning to Stefan. Good morning to you. I hope you are well. Good morning to Sweeney Todd 70 as well. Paul Hancock's in the chat. Paul, tell us about your team, Man United, Brighton at home. Years gone by, this would have been a home banker, but yeah, you're not doing that great. What do you think? By the way, come on, guys and girls. When I said let's smash that like button, I didn't mean 10 of you. Over 170 of you have not tickled that like button, so please do. It really does help. And honestly, I really do need it to happen if we're going to keep this as a full-time gig. I need the likes, I need the subscribes. Without the growth, unfortunately, we'll need to go back to getting a proper job, so to speak. Good morning to East London Guna. Good morning to Amin. Good morning to Strasbourg Steve in the chat. Martin Knightsbridge in the chat. Den C in the chat as well. He said, I know this is a transition season, but I hate that we have to define our achievements based on us finishing above Arsenal or not. Please let us be discussing what we're going to win. Dens, I feel like this is made up. Who has defined our achievements based on finishing above Arsenal? Do you know what? I'm not saying you said this, but honestly, this video I did yesterday about Spurs finishing above Arsenal, bearing in mind it wasn't my opinion, it was Darren Ambrose. First of all, not you, by the way, Dens, not you, by the way. The number of people who couldn't understand that I was relaying information from Darren Ambrose from TalkSport was quite frightening. First of all, I mean, mainly the Arsenal fans that couldn't quite understand that it wasn't me saying it, that it was Darren Ambrose. I made it very clear. Second of all, the number of people that have said, oh my God, this is what you think is success. I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything. Like, it's just absolutely mad. Last night was absolutely crazy. Me and Mia on one of my shows. And the number of people that were like, oh my God, you've let Arsenal fans onto your show. This is out of order. We're unsubscribing. And you think to yourself, oh my God, we're adults. Come on. First of all, this is a football debate show. It's a football channel, right? It says in my bio, all fans welcome. The show I did yesterday said all fans welcome to come on and have their say. We had Arsenal fans in the chat, Chelsea fans in the chat, Leicester fans in the chat. I mean, just unbelievable. The Spurs fans are very, very, very strange. Just very strange. Big up Kuvo. I reckon he's going to be here in 5 minutes. Casing point. I'm going to give you a casing point right there. I'll just leave that there for you guys to see. Right there. You're deluded if you think Spurs will finish above Arsenal. I don't think I've said we will. But okay. Good one, Matthew. Good one. Hope you're well. Big up to Pete Shaw, who is in the house. Good morning to you, my friend. It is game weekend. Game of throw-ins is here. Said nothing in that statement is a surprise. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. As I said, when people are losing their minds and getting excited about where we are after 4 games, you always know that Levy and Enoch will find a way to stop the growth. You know they will. So I'll keep my feet on the ground. Philly, big up, brother. I said, I swear down, Levy has forgotten all the lies over the course of the years. Yeah, because he just keeps saying the same thing and fans keep lapping it up. Big up. Tigara said it's a great business model, to be fair, but additional money needs to be funneled into the primary tenant. Two very different things. Let's see what this guy's got to say about it. Good morning, Kuva. How are you?
Morning, mate. I'm good. Did you enjoy your visit to Shellside Spurs last night?
I tell you what, it's certainly different. You don't have to worry about football, do you? So it was very.
In fact, it's actively discouraged on that show.
Yeah. It was interesting. And then after an hour, I was like, yeah, I feel I need to go and uncleanse my brain, or cleanse my brain, so to speak. But yeah, good fun.
Yeah, that's the Shellside experience. Yeah, and anyway, good otherwise. Match day coming up.
Yes.
I'm getting so hyper about it. It's
good.
I just love it. We're talking so many times we've been hiding. I keep saying this, hiding behind the curtains as Spurs fans over the last few years. It's been horrible football. We're expecting the worst. Whenever something starts going wrongly, we think, oh, here we go again. So you can't speak up about anything. Right now, for me, what is this game all about? For me, it's all about the emotions. It's how this team makes you feel. And I feel fantastic right now. We're seeing great football. I'm utterly delusional. We're going to win the double. I'm disrespecting every other team. We're definitely finishing above Arsenal. City, bring it. I feel like we can go to Real Madrid and smash them in their own backyard at the moment. If we get beaten, and we're going to along the way, of course we will. There'll be bumps in the road. But I just feel this sense of, that doesn't matter, brush yourself off, back on the horse, off we go again. I feel we've got direction and purpose now in the team. And I think this infectious personality from the manager is spreading like wildfire among the fans. I am just adoring all of this. So when it comes to Sheffield United, I'm not going to play it cagey and think, oh, yeah, well, they might do this, they might do that.
No, we should win.
Stuff what they do. We're going to smash them 6-0 at least. This is relegation cannon fodder. We are back on top of that ball now. We are crowing.
Let me ask you a question. I agree with you, but all that crowing, what if Sheffield United then beat us?
Like I said, I don't care. I'll see the longer term here. I'll see the future.
Yeah, but you see what you've done there? It's like, we will beat them. We will stuff them. It's going to be 4 or 5-0. They're cannon fodder. Sheffield United 0. Sorry, Spurs 0. Sheffield United 1. Oh, it doesn't matter. The bigger picture.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Roller coaster. That's what I'm used to with this club. Highs and lows all the time. Early days with Ange, things are going to come off the track at times. I just don't see it tomorrow. No way.
I
don't. In our own backyard.
I don't at all.
What are they going to do? They're going to come and play a low block. Yeah. I just think we've got the style to do something about that now. We've got a lot of players that can run with the ball at speed. If need be, you just keep dribbling at them in the penalty area and wait and see, grab a penalty or something like that. As soon as one goal goes in, what are they going to do? Keep shutting up shop?
Yeah,
maybe. But I think if they just come out, we're just going to see the floodgates open.
I think it's going to be very different. I think it's going to be very similar to when they played Man City. And I don't mean the scoreline. I just mean like after that Man City game, what made me laugh? And if anyone who doesn't remember it, it was 2-1 to Man City. Man City scored in the last 10 minutes. But the narrative that was spread, Kuva, was Man City in really tough game. Man City lucky to get the win. Realistically, the game should have been about 15-1, right? Realistically, Man City peppered them chance after chance after chance. And it was a bad mistake from Carl Walker, who did a brilliant contract extension video. Did you see it?
No, I haven't, but I've heard it was good.
Absolutely brilliant. So we'll go back to the football in a second. So this video was, so he signed the new contract till 2026, and they mimicked him, dressed him up like, what's his name from The Wolf of Wall Street? The famous scene where he goes, "I'm staying." And everyone looks around and he goes, "I'm staying." And everyone's going, "Rah!" And they've cut to footage of all the Man City fans celebrating like all this. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, listen, that game was the one thing I did realize in that game. Their treatment of Erling Haaland was like, it was literally, you go out, you bully the hell out of that guy. Yeah. Now Haaland can take it. Haaland's a big 6'4" guy, whatever he is. Spurs will play slightly different because we won't have that big guy up top. We will do more of the running in behind, which I think is actually better because I think Sheffield United, they want the fight. They want the aerial battle. That's where the playing field is leveled. On the ground, quickness of turn, passing movement, we're a class above them, aren't we?
Absolutely. If you're a lesser team, and they are a lesser team, and let's have it right, this is a team that's going to be lucky if they don't finish bottom.
Just start selling minerals. Let's have it right.
So to hell with them. When you're a lesser team like that, you've got to try and bring the other team down to your level. Because if you try and play them at football, you're going to lose. You're going to get heavily beaten. Right. So let's not do that. Let's just do what we do best at the moment. Pass the ball around, keep those passing options open, control the ball. I think we'll have more of the possession in this game than any other this season. I really do. I think we're going to get like 80% or something.
I agree. I think I said yesterday, I think it will be 68, 69 plus. End to end, 69% possession. No, I know, it was good, wasn't it? I agree with you, mate. I think it will be 68 minimum. I feel like this will be minimum. I think that Basuma, Sarr and Maddison, assuming that we go with the same midfield three, Basuma and Sarr, I feel, will spend 90% of their game in the last third of the pitch, camped in. And listen, let's play it fair. They are a Premier League football team. For me, Sheffield United will be dangerous on counter-attacks. I think we know that will be Spurs' weakness against anyone. It will be counter-attacks with a high line. Sure. Have they got the quality to break it down? Have Spurs got the quality to keep the ball away from them? I think we have. I'm expecting, it's not that if you win 2-0, you win 2-0. I'm expecting to see 3 or 4. I truly believe this is a game where we could get Sonny to get another goal or two to really bang on from the confidence of getting a hat-trick last time out. I think Solomon and Kulu should have a field day down the wings. I watched, someone will tell me, someone in the chat, help me out here, the right back playing against Grealish, against Man City for Sheffield United. Grealish turned him inside out and had him booked within about 20 minutes. Bulldog, maybe?
Oh, yeah. What's the name? Jamie Bulldog ring the bell? I don't
know. Who's the? I'll tell you what. What do you make of what I've said? I'll find out from Man City's games.
Yeah, fair. Like I said, I'm just not worried about them. They sold their best 2 players in the summer anyway. The new striker that came in, I've forgotten the name now, but he looks like he could be quite decent for them. But I don't think he's going to see enough of the ball this season. I think they're in banging trouble.
Yeah.
George Bulldog, that's it. George Bulldog.
Yeah. It's George Bulldog. Yeah. So I mean, look, if we look at this team, this is the 11 they've been playing. Right? They've been playing with Fotheringham in goal, Ahmedovic, Egan, and Robinson at the back. Bulldog, Norwood, Osborne, Hamer, Souza, Osula, Traore. Now
it's a championship team with a couple of decent players in it. That's it.
It is, and I think for me the big thing for them was letting go of Sander Berg, who I thought was their best player.
Absolutely. I mean, as you know, I've got an invested interest in Norwegian players.
Yeah.
Mum's side. So Sander Berger is Berger. I can't even say it properly now. I'm just still in mourning mode. Anyway, he was the one making.
Sorry to hear that. Who passed? In mourning. Oh come on, Cooper.
Like us. No, it's a good dad joke. I said it's 10:30, mate. I can still taste the toothpaste, mate.
What's toothpaste? I'm a YouTuber now. I can't afford these essentials. I can't afford that. I live in this room with a tap, a dog bed to my side, and a light and a camera.
Yeah, so I knew it, mate. So like and subscribe because it will help out the poor little dog.
Please. The dog needs some food and I need some toothpaste.
Do it for the sake of the animals.
Yeah, please do it for them.
Where we're going. Yeah, I think they have lost their most influential player from last season, and time will tell whether they've replaced him or not. And I don't think so, to be honest. Certainly, at the moment, they won't be ticking over the way we've seen the turnaround at our own club. It's astonishing the fact we just didn't have a proper pre-season yet come out firing the way we have.
That's what surprised me the most.
It
was that we didn't have a pre-season, and I remember doing a show with a few people, and we said it's going to be sink or swim. They either galvanise from that and come out the traps brilliantly, or you're sluggish and you're rubbish. And it looks like they chose to galvanise.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas us, we sort of load both guns and let the opposition have it and see if they can outdo us. And it's working. It really is working. I think people are waking up to it as well. It's not just our fans saying it. It's not just delusion on our side. You hear it amongst the pundits as well. Spurs are going to be something to watch this season. Some of the neutrals I've heard as well saying already we're playing the best football in the division. We're actually joy to watch. This is music to my ears. I think you're pretty much the same as me in that respect.
For sure.
When you hear opposition saying how well your team is playing and the style of football, it is just, I feel so much pride in that. That has to be in place and then win things. Then we've done our job. So we're halfway there. The football's improving. I think the result's going to pick up. I just think we've got this manager that knows how to beat the odds. He enjoys being the underdog and being told you can't do this, you're not good enough, and then does it anyway. And I see it in the players at the moment. For me, the one player I see that's benefited the most from all of this, and he goes under the radar so much, it's got to be Pedro Porro, because last week how many people were writing him off saying no, he's not good enough, can't defend. And I stuck with my guns at the same reason. And I know
I was one of them. I was one of them.
I know you agree with the same reasoning. I know you agree with the same reasoning, though, that when I say I want to see my team packed with 11 players that are very talented, technically good players. He is light years ahead of Emerson. That's why I always thought you stick with it no matter what. Now, Ange, instead of turning him into that wing back from last season, he's just shifted his role, hasn't he? He's that inverted wing back, tucks in the midfield. It's working beautifully for him. And he also gives us the option of, say, we're up against a really tricky right winger. The doggy can come back a bit and help out the left side of the defence with his pace. And then Porro can go forward. It's because he's got all that ability on the ball, crossing ability, passing. Some of those pinpoint passes he's been doing so far been absolutely superb.
Do you know what? I want to come back. I'll come back to that in 1 second. Kind of still staying on the same thing. Somewhere, Philly, somewhere, Barry's ears are going mad. And if he's on a work call, he's itching to get on probably because somebody has talked about his boy, Emerson Royale. And listen, long live Emerson Royale, long live Barry, and long live their cuddling collaboration between them. It's a joy to see. Kuva, you make a good point. And before I get to that, come on, guys and girls, let's smash that like button. The Premier League is back. I get it during international break. The Premier League is back. We've had one subscriber. Smash that subscribe button. Smash the like button. We need to buy toothpaste. We need to buy toothpaste. That is, of course, a joke. I do have toothpaste. I don't use it, but I do have toothpaste. Please smash those buttons. It really does help. And honestly, if you were doing YouTube as a full-time living, you would know that the last 2 weeks has been very difficult indeed. So hopefully it starts picking up. Guva, interesting point you made there, because one of the things I hated about Conte was his inability to mix things up. Said it all last season when people said, oh, you can't play a four at the back. I think we're seeing we can play a four at the back, but you've got to mix things up. You've got to look for a different way. It doesn't have to be a flat back four. You can play inverted. One of the things that I was worried about last year was that we didn't have enough. Everyone takes the piss out of me in the chat. We didn't have enough legs in the team. Didn't have enough engine. Didn't have enough pace. So when I looked at Skip, Højbjerg, Skip, Højbjerg, you looked at Longley, you looked at Royal. I didn't see legs. When you now look across the back three with Porro, I'm not saying Romero's a slouch, but Van de Ven, Udogie, Porro. Then you look at the engine of Papa Sarr, Basuma, Solomon, that's pace he's got, Sonny with the pace he's got. All of a sudden, we've got engines, we've got legs, we've got pace, we've got just vibrancy.
And it's not just that, is it? It's you look at some of the style of these players, particularly Basuma, Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero. They're all good on the ball. You put them under pressure. You put them under the pressure. They've usually got a way out of it. They don't give the ball away very easily. Also, you look at some of those sensational turns, and I'm going to pick out Basuma because he has been the standout one for this. When he receives the ball under pressure, his ability to turn and shrug off the opponent, it makes us so press resistant. And you see Maddison dropping back as well, and he's doing the same thing. Picks the ball, runs with it. So even if you're getting players marked or there's not enough movement up front, you shift the ball forward with speed with the player doing it. And we've got so many who can do this. Porro's another one. It makes us a nightmare to play against because even if you go man marking, the movement around the pitch, who's going to go with Maddison if he drops deep? Is your defensive midfielder going to track him all the way into the other half? I don't think so. So he does that. Udogie drops into the space that Maddison's left up the pitch. We've still got those numbers up there, yet we've overloaded the area of the pitch where we're having trouble with. There's clever little variations in our play, and it's all about continuing that sense of we've got passing options in that midfield area. But every time you look at it, when it's all working well, it's like the side of a dice with the 5 on it. You've got the 2 up the front, one in the centre, and 2 behind them. And then there's options every single time for these players. Even if you mark them all out, the formation changes, the player comes back to make that extra man. There is always something on. If you want to really counter this, you have to take a chance yourself doing it. And a lot of teams won't be comfortable doing that. So I think we're playing in such a way that either you give us the ball or you're going to play us at our own game and we're going to beat you at it. I'll be interested to see who manages first to crack that little way of playing for us at the moment, because it's been sensational so far.
It has. I think the key thing that I picked up from what you said there was the first bit you said. It is Basuma's. Look, you get players who are good in midfield and they can track back and they can win the ball. But as you said, it's his ability to win the ball, then turn out of trouble and drive forward immediately, all in one movement. It's not a slowing the game down. Papa Sarr can do it to a degree, but he's a lot younger. Obviously, he hasn't got the experience of Basuma. But when you watch Basuma doing this, and I know I don't want to look backwards, but you just sit there and you think, oh, we had this guy. We had this guy at Tottenham last year, and our midfield looked so static. We looked so unbelievably bereft of energy and vibrancy. Then you've got a manager that's come in and gone, hang on, this guy's too good to just stick behind the ball. Like, let him go. Let him go and do his thing. And he sees him as a leader. He said that the other day on the TalkSport interview. He sees him as a leader. But more than that, Kuva, the midfield blend we've had so far of Bentancur, Basuma, and Maddison for me is listen, I think Basuma and Maddison have been my two standouts, if I'm honest. The blend between those two is everything we missed. Power, drive, press resistant, and then what Maddison gives you. That guile, that flair, that give me the ball, even if I've got three players around me, I'm confident in my own footwork to get out of trouble and create. Plus the goals. It's just all is looking really good in there by adding, let's be fair, Maddison. He's only added Maddison from what was there last year.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Keep using the word sensational, but it really is so far.
Yeah.
Madison.
Sorry, I know I went on there. Apologies. When I like something, I get really excited by it.
I suppose there's two of us here. We're supposed to be saying our pieces, aren't we? So Maddison. I agree. It's that player. So many of us have been crying out for years, isn't it? I remember when he was at Norwich, and there was a lot of us saying, "Go and snap him up. He's really got something." I love the fact we seem to be taking this direction as well now. That it's only a minor sort of thing at the moment, but that signing of Vuskovic, I forgot the name now. It is Vuskovic.
I think it's Vuskovic. Yeah.
Somebody
will tell you you're pronouncing it wrong.
When you tie it in with some of the other things I've heard that we've abolished that wage cap on the 16 to 18-year-olds, so we're going to find it easier to attract in those really top young talents. I think this is the direction that I wanted to see us going for years. I'm pretty sure we're the same mindset as well, aren't you, mate? You get in young players, give them a chance, get top talent, and just let them flourish. I've always been an advocate of the way Ajax do things, and I think in this league we're in a position where we have the financial strength to blow what Ajax do out of the water in some ways, because we can have these spend a hell of a lot of money on it. They have got a much more limited budget being over in the league they're in, but they do it fantastically well. Dortmund as well, another one doing the same thing. Sevilla, much the same thing. You get the value out for your money on players that are really good to start with, but just that level below, superstar status. Then you develop them, give it time, be patient. You can run your club really well doing that way, and I think with our structure is in place to do it. Physically the structure is there. I think we got the right manager in there, and despite my criticizing the likes of Paratici, he seems to be the driving force between this for this new way of approaching the youth and how we're signing players. If that's the case, he's doing a good job. Forget the signings, which have been hit and miss. We'll just see what brings over the next few years, and I am so energized. Energy again, isn't it?
Again, it is
as well. Yeah,
it is. It is. Listen, I've had this before where I've worked for companies, and everything gets a bit dull, and no one likes the manager. And, no one likes that this manager wants 55 team meetings a day. No one likes that this manager clock watches. No one likes that this manager wants to know why you were late because the tube was late or so. Then all of a sudden that manager goes, the new manager comes in and you go, oh God, I enjoy my job again. Like I enjoy going to work. This manager is a man manager. This manager just wants me to get my job done and doesn't care if I'm 3 minutes late because there was a tube problem or a train problem. Listen, I will get some super chats and we'll go to some comments as well. Big up, everyone. First of all, Den C, big up to you. Thank you so much. Has become a channel member. There will be a YouTube channel member only show probably Thursday of next week. Probably Thursday. It's just a chance for all the channel members. No one else, no one can view it. It's only channel members. It's more like a sit round in your living room and have a chat. Everyone gets to know each other. Any of the channel members who have attended will tell you it's very different. I'm not in host mode. I'm not in like, hey, but I'm in Richard Savva mode, chilled out. We all just have a chat. People can come on, whatever. So big up to you, Dens. Thank you so much. Shafay Sajad said, big up, guys. Been a tough sorry, let me start that again. Sorry, this comment deserves that. Big up, guys. Been a few. Jesus Christ. And people said I should be on Sky Sports. Can you imagine? Big up, guys. Been a tough few days personally, but at least Ange Ball is finally back tomorrow to make it all better. Shafay, whatever's going on, man, just remember that tomorrow's a new day. The sun always rises and nothing's ever as bad tomorrow as it was the day before. Always remember that, my friend. So listen, Big Ange has got us playing football. We're back tomorrow. And to make it better, Savva's on quite a lot tomorrow for a live watch-along from 2 p.m. Kuva, you're welcome to join if you would like to. I know you don't often like watch-alongs, but watch-along from 2 p.m. And then at 5:30, we're going to have the post-fan show where people can call in and vent if Sheffield United spring a surprise, or praise if we knock those 4 or 5 goals in that we should. So either way, everyone is welcome. So big up to you, Shafay, and keep fighting the good fight, my man. When all is said and done, people, just remember, football is football and life is more important. Some might disagree. Strasbourg Steve said, here's some money to compensate for the lack of likes and subs. Thank you so much, Steve. We've had 3 subs today, which is very nice. So people, please continue to sub. Steve is always a massive supporter of the channel and always welcome on. So big up, Steve. Thank you so much, mate.
Of course he is. Steve supports everybody.
He does. Listen, he does support everybody. He's a massive supporter of. I mean, I found out this week doing the live watch-alongs for internationals that he's about 15/8 in terms of this 1/8 is Hungarian, this 1/8 is German, this 1/8 is American. He didn't want to pledge allegiance to Harry Maguire's England. Just saying, just putting it out there. Rodney, big up, massive support of the channel. Said big up Savva and Kuva and everybody. Love you all. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Rodney. Kitted out fully there in his cockerel gear. I wouldn't be surprised if that car behind him has got a cockerel on the bonnet. Big up to you, Rodney. Much love, my man. Ryan Isaacs, big up to you, Ryan. Hope you're well, my friend. I love that. What does that say? Levy. Does it say Levy out, Enoch out? What is the words in between? Do you know what that says? In between Levy and out. What does that say? No. Ryan, let us know what that says. Ryan has said, honest opinion, whether Spurs can finish above them lot. No. Our squad isn't strong enough. We need a lot of luck and Arsenal to fall off a bit. Now, listen, Kuva, I feel like I caused a bit of a storm yesterday, and I didn't mean to. It was purely Darren Ambrose went on TalkSport and said that Spurs will finish above Arsenal. I did a video saying, hey, Darren Ambrose has said this. Obviously, I just got a million people going, cool. Spurs fans are dumb. Oh, my God, Spurs fans this, Spurs fans. I'm like, Darren Ambrose said it. Darren Ambrose, I'm not. Kuva, I'll get your take on this in a second. Just for clarity, this has been my position on finishing above Arsenal from the summer to now, whatever. Can Spurs finish above Arsenal? Of course they can. Anybody can finish above anybody within reason. Will they? This now depends on a number of different factors. Yeah. Keeping players fit, keeping players not suspended, keeping players in form, because even if they're fit doesn't mean that their form is just going to completely roll on for a year. Then you've got to look at, is playing once a week good compared to teams that might be playing twice a week but are in a groove and they've got their form and their consistency? Some of the time, Kuva, we looked, there are games every 10 days throughout some of this season. Is that too long for not playing, for not keeping your sharpness? Then you look at Arsenal. Arsenal have got 4 tournaments. How does Arteta balance the squad? So for me, there are a lot of moving parts. Can we do it? Yes. Will we do it? I think it might be a tad early, but never say never.
Yeah, I agree with all those things, except for I know we're going to win the double. So
Of course.
it's happening. Look, Arsenal have had this for a few seasons now. This their sense of feeling they're going to win the league, and things are always going in the right direction, but it's never quite happening, is it?
No.
They clearly went out and spent big to strengthen their team this season. And do they look better than they did last season? I'd say no. So they're going to have to find out whether this works. Just because they spend big on Declan Rice doesn't mean that their team gels together the same way. It might not work out as well. That does happen sometimes. So look at Pepe, for example. What an exciting talent he was. Turned up, didn't fit. Absolutely couldn't get the grips with it at all. Same with Ozil. It just didn't work out. Sensational start he had for them. And then just the wheels fell off and he was gone.
And a very good footballer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a coup when they got him, wasn't it? We all thought, wow, that's really something. But so I don't think they're going to be as good as they are expecting. It's going to be a lot harder for them this season. However, are we going to be able to maintain our blistering start? It's going to be difficult because we know that there's a big drop-off in certain positions if we get injuries. Now, if we get lucky and it works in our favour, being out of the League Cup early will help with this, whether we like it or not. Having those gaps between games, extra time on the training pitch, that is going to be beautiful for Ange. First season, and you get all the extra time on that training pitch. He's going to love that. He can implement his playing style to a much higher degree, much more intense on how he does it for the first season. If that all goes well, I think, they're talking about no ceilings. I feel the only ceiling at the moment is going to be Man City. Everything else is up for grabs. It really is. But we need a lot.
I feel they're. Listen. I agree with you. I think it's. I've said for years. I don't actually think the league is as strong as people make out. That's just me. It's just my personal opinion. I think the defending across the Premier League in general is woeful. If I'm brutally honest, I think lots of teams. I mean, on day one, we saw Villa let in 5. We've seen Newcastle already this season a few times letting in 3s and 2s. Let's be fair, we let in 2 to Burnley. It's not like, I think everyone's making it out like we've been impenetrable. We let in 2 to a team that just got promoted. I think that everyone concedes goals, but it does make it exciting. But to come to your point, I'll make you right. I think behind Man City, for me, I've said that, look, I said this the other day, I think that Man City are there. I think Arsenal and Liverpool are just below. So Man City here. Then in this next bit down here, I think Liverpool and Arsenal will be very close. I think those two have got the firepower, the experience. They've had their managers the longest, and I think they're very settled. Below that, I think is an absolute free-for-all. Can Spurs be the best of the rest? That's the question you've got to ask yourself, because at some point, Chelsea will click. At some point, I fail to believe Man United will be this bad all the way through. Brighton are a very good football team that will win a lot of games. At Aston Villa, we don't know what Aston Villa are going to do. They look very good at home, suspicious away. But then you could say, well, hang on, Aston Villa have had a very difficult start. Aston Villa so far have played Newcastle. They've played Liverpool. Who else is in that batch? You've got, have I missed anyone out?
You can't really say Brentford, although we're all impressed with what Brentford have done as a club. You can't really say, well, they're going to be pushing for Champions League, can you?
Yeah.
So I think, pretty much. I mean, the big one at the moment is teams like Man United. Look what's happening there. What's happening with Sancho for a start? Big name players coming in, causing a problem. They had it with Ronaldo before. It's not happy camp at the moment, is it?
No.
And it's affecting their form. I don't think they're even in the race for that top 4 this season, or top 5.
Do you know the worrying thing that I always think with things like this, I always think, and the reason I don't ever, listen, I think they're a mess, but the reason I never discount teams like that is because, let's say Ten Hag got the sack in 3 or 4 games. I'm not saying he will, but let's say he got the sack. You never know. A manager could come in and do what the likes of Postecoglou are coming in and doing at Spurs. So I always think, keep your feet on the ground. Like, i.e., even look at Villa last year. Villa were an absolute shambles under Steven Gerrard. They come in, and I think only one club got more points between Unai Emery taking over and the end of the season than Villa did. Like, that's what a manager can do. So, look, I agree with you, though. I think Man U are miles off it at the moment. However, add in Amrabat, add in Højlund now starting games.
Plus January is not that far off, really, is it? So,
yeah,
they got the capability of going out and spending big anyway if they really need to. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Don't completely rule them out, but right, you got to look at what he's seeing right now, and they look like a mess at the moment.
Sure, yeah, they absolutely look like a mess. I mean, I think a lot of fans, even the most of the sensible Man United fans right now, are saying, "What are we doing?" Like, when right now, I don't think anyone's questioning Ange's team selection in the league. I don't think anyone's going, "That's not our best 11." Would that be fair?
It's got to be. It would be very harsh if you think it isn't. Just look at the way we're playing and the results.
But you look at Man United, every time a Man United team gets announced, I see the Man United fans going, "Why is he not playing? What's he doing playing there?" Blah, blah. And that's not a good place to be in. And it seems to have gone very sour for Ten Hag very, very quickly after winning a cup, getting to another cup final, and getting back in the Champions League. It seems to have derailed. But hey, we're not Man U. So just quickly.
I think that kind... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on. You're right, go on.
I was going to say, I think that's always a likely outcome at a club like Man United, where you are going to have superstar names coming into it. And if you haven't got a manager that's really, really strong personality, he can lose it. He can lose that dressing room quite quickly. Has Ten Hag got that about him? I don't think he has. I think he's a very thoughtful, clever tactician.
Yeah.
But he was perfectly suited for Ajax, where expectations each season are, we're going to bring through our young players, add to it a little bit. And if there's nothing happening for this season, that's okay, because we know the next season is going to happen. At Man United, the expectations are sky high all the time.
Of course.
And they've been failing a lot. They're desperate to get that back to where they were.
And spent hugely.
Yeah.
Like people keep talking about Chelsea and City spending. Man United have spent ridiculous amounts of money since Ferguson left. And in bits, they've got it right. They've won the odd trophy, which is great, but they're Man United. Man United should be winning trophies. And now I feel like a lot of clubs are now starting to be run a lot better than them. Look, like the question I was going to ask you just quickly while we're still on Man United, and we are going to go to some super chats in a minute. And by the way, keep smashing the like button. Thank you to the person who just subscribed. Keep liking, keep subscribing. Do need to really drive this forward now this week. Brighton, Man United tomorrow at Man United. And some people were saying, I was on a show yesterday and people were saying, what do you think could be an upset for the games tomorrow? So I was looking through and going like Arsenal at Everton. I can't really see it, if I'm honest.
I can see the upset would be Man United winning.
Well, this was going to be my point. As I was going through it, I was looking and saying, I can't really see anything. And then somebody said, I think it was Steve, Strasbourg Steve said to me, I see the upset being Brighton at Man U. Kuva, I don't know about you, but I'm at the stage where I don't see that as an upset. I actually think if Man United beat Brighton, aren't they? I fully expect Brighton to go there and dominate. Now, I'm not saying that they'll 100% win, but I think if Man United win, their fans will think that is like beating one of the big teams.
Well, there's two factors to it, isn't there? Nowadays, remember back in the day, we'd see Man United away and we'd be thinking, "Oh God, we're going to get absolutely mullered here. We're going to go home tails between the legs as usual, take a beating."
Yeah,
a lot of teams felt that same way. It was an intimidating place to go. Nowadays, you see Man United away, I fancied us getting us something there.
Yeah, no one's worried. No one's worried.
And the way Brighton are playing, I think the way they just can just adapt, sell off some of their best players and just keep going. It's amazing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think, like you, the way they play football, they're going to dominate possession. I think they'll create quite a lot of chances. Their biggest problem is going to be finishing them off. That young Ferguson looks a real talent. That's going to help. But I've got Brighton to win 3-0. I really wouldn't bat an eyelid at that result. Like I said, that's assuming they take.
You wouldn't.
Chance. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
You wouldn't bat an eyelid, Coover. That's the thing. I think can Man United get a draw at home? Yes. But right now, I'm sitting there going, I can't see a way in which they win. And that sounds mad. Man United at Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams. Like, what happened to that? The theatre of dreams.
They're playing a tragedy at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, they really
tragedy.
are.
Yeah.
They really are.
You kind of feel sorry for some of them in a way, because, after being treated to all those Alex Ferguson years, it's fallen away so badly and for so long. I understand why they got such rage at the owners, because this isn't what they're used to. It's not what their club's all about.
Yeah.
They reverted to being the team they were back in the 1980s. That's occasional cup side. It's well below where they should be. Everybody knows that. They're still one of, if not still the biggest team in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, I just want to say, David Shire in the chat has just gifted a channel membership. And I believe that channel membership went to the person who's on the screen right now. I believe that went to you, Steve. I'll go with Steve until I'm told otherwise. So big up to you, Steve. A big up to David Shire. That's very generous, gifting out a channel membership. So thank you very much for that. Everyone wins. I win. I'm not going to lie. So does Steve. So thank you very much. By the way, thank you, whoever just subscribed. Keep smashing that subscribe button, people. I want to get well away from this. Is where we are. This is where we are at the moment. 11,103. Let's try and get that this weekend closer to the 11,200. Coover, I just need to go through some super chats, if that's all right. And then a couple of comments that I thought would be good talking points. First of all, by the way, Kudos did put in a chat said basically me saying the defending isn't good. Said, isn't that testament to the attacking strength? If I'm honest, I think the attacking strength is weak as well. If I'm brutally honest, people will call me nostalgic, but when I remember the Premier League when it first started and for the first 15 odd years, there were strikers everywhere. There were pure out and out goal scorers everywhere. There were proper centre backs everywhere. It was men. Like, it was proper defenders that wanted to defend. It wasn't all this I'm not saying it's wrong, but it wasn't all this bringing the ball out the back. These guys went through the back of you. These guys would pull shirts, would elbows, Now I look at it and go, how many top strikers in the league anymore? Not many. How many top centre halves in the league anymore? Not many. So for me,
rule changes as well have really changed the way the game's played.
Sure.
Go back a few years. Remember Stoke being in the top league?
Yeah.
And they had a defender called Ryan Shawcross. Absolute monster, really nasty sort of player. You can't play like that anymore. He struggled when they started changing the rules and taking some of the aggression out of the game. So I agree. Defending is now you've got to be
the art's gone.
Yeah. You got to be top quality up there before you put the physical side into it. So I think it's becoming a much more difficult thing to be a defender nowadays. Yeah, you just don't get away with it. Even the old arts of corners and things, and stick your knee in the back of the opponent's knee so they can't jump, which I used to do all the time. You get spotted with little things like that. Yes, at different times, I think it all affects it, but I agree, Savva. I think there seems to be a lack of quality compared to times gone past. When it'll be a regular thing. Look at the Gooners, for example. Would you compare this lot to the likes of Henry and Bergkamp and stuff? Because I wouldn't.
No.
Vieira,
can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that Invincibles team if they had been in the league last year? Right, like, there's no way that Arsenal. Look, for me, football has evolved. It's changed. I'm not saying we don't get with that, but sadly, there aren't as many good defenders now. Like literally, if you look across the Premier League, top centre halves, I mean top centre halves that are dependable every game, leadership. You know, like when you played against Tony Adams, when you played against John Terry, when you played against Rio Ferdinand, Marcel Desailly, I mean, I could go back the Mark Wrights of the world, the Paul McGraths of the world. You knew as a centre forward, I'm in for a tough game. I am in for a tough game. Who? Coover. Now, when you look around the Premier League, top centre halves around the Premier League.
There's very few. The one that we all raved about, we knew he was one of the best we've seen in the Premier League. Van Dijk. He's not been the same since that horrendous injury. But actually, I call it an injury. It's more like an assault that went unpunished.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. Still don't believe he got such light treatment, Pickford, for that. There's so few around, isn't there? I think
there is.
We've kind of got one now that's starting to shine doing it. I think Romero's he's got what it takes. He has got that kind of aggressive streak to him, but he's got control this season. He's got that captain's head on as well. I think it's helping him.
You know me, I will agree with you when I see him do this consistently. I will agree with you because I think he's got everything it needs. But you know, when you look around though, like even if you look at Liverpool, Van Dijk's not the player he was. Matip, Gomez, Kanate, these are good centre backs, but nothing that I go, oh wow, you're like Chiellini. You know what I mean? Like you're imperious.
Even Man City. Diaz, fantastic footballer. He's not a Vincent Kompany, though, is he?
No. Another one that I could have added to that list. Like, I just remember, like, again, sorry, I know it sounds nostalgic, but like every game you knew, even when you went and played an Oldham, even when you went and played a Coventry, I can name any team. Their centre halves were men. They were proper centre halves that were all good in the air. Do you know what I mean? They all knew how to defend their box. Now, when I watch a lot of the highlights of games, obviously I can't watch every game for 90 minutes. You watch a lot of the highlights and you think, who was marking him? Where's the centre half? Why is everyone scoring from corners so easily, like without being... Like back in the day, the two centre halves pick up the two biggest players in the 18-yard box. Bang! Get it? Now it's like, no one wants to go and own that. No one wants to go and make that their own. So, hey, listen,
that's why I bring up Romero. He's one of the few that kind of has that side to his game. The very aggressive thing we used to see over the years. I agree. Some of those players going back, even when there was an aging Richard Gough, for example.
Yeah.
Player. He had that aerial ability, and he was aggressive, but he was also class with it.
For sure.
Colin Hendry was another one. That's really old school, rough and tumble.
But even look at that Blackburn team when they had Colin Hendry at the back, players like Henning Berg. Yeah. Even when I watched Man United, people like unsung heroes like Ronnie Johnson, like Frank LeBoeuf at Chelsea. These weren't world-class centre-halves, but they did their job. They were defenders. Now, when I watch most of the teams play, I think to myself, the strikers from years gone by would murder this lot. I honestly, they would murder them with their movement.
I agree.
It is what it is. Big up to everyone in the chat. Lots of people in the chat. We've got people like the Irish Hotspur is here. Matty Hayes is here. We have got Joshua in the chat. Sweeney Todd is in the chat. Pat Butcher's talking about Neil Ruddock, Gary Mabbott. Yeah, men, proper men, centre halves. Botman. Yeah, Botman's a good centre half. He is. He's a good centre half. Let me get some super chats. I really should. Big up to Ren, who messaged me yesterday on Instagram to say that her mum agreed that I look like that bloke she said I looked like yesterday. So big up to Ren and her mum. I sent the picture to my missus and said, do I look like this guy? And she was like, oh, a little bit, but I don't like his hair. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right. Big up. Spurs Spartan. This wasn't a super chat, but said, I'm being careful this season. I saw this hype with Leeds and Bielsa, just going to take game by game. Listen, I don't want to get into a big thing about this, but what I would say, Spurs Spartan, is the difference between Spurs and the team Bielsa had is I think that we're trying to create a defensive side to this team as well. Whereas I think Bielsa just went pure on all-out assault on the other team, and they just concede. It was great to watch, but if you've got any hopes of really growing and winning things, it wasn't the one. But I think we're slightly different with the midfield reinforcement of Basuma and Sarr, and then you've got Van der Ven and Romero at the back. But I hear you, man. It is 4 games. Tigaro just coming in and saying, come on, you Spurs. Big up to you, Tigaro. Thank you. Always a massive support of the channel. I really do appreciate that, Tigaro. Sweeney Todd has become a channel member. Sweeney Todd, the 70th Sweeney Todd. Big up to you. As said, there will be channel member only show next week, and then they're every 2 weeks. And we have channel member only conversations as well in the YouTube community chat. So big up to you and welcome to the Football Heritage TV family. Dave H has just come in and put in a super sticker. So big up to you, Dave. Thank you very much. Also a channel member as well. Strasbourg Steve has said, Kuva. Here you go. I'll let you answer this quickly. Actually, I'll come to that last. No, actually, go for it. Kuva, would you put Brighton as the bookies' favourites?
No, definitely not. They always adjust prices on the amount of bets they get coming on each one because they've got to cover themselves. But certainly, you've got to start with United as favourites at home in terms of the bookies because of history. That United win home games a lot. It's harder to go away from home. But, if it was my bookie, if I was running it, there's no way I'd be so easy of just saying United are favourites there. As we talked about, I think Brighton are a solid outfit at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think Man United have got big problems.
I agree with you. And there has been some breaking news in the Premier League, so I will get to that in a second and bring it up onto the screen. Before we do, Strasbourg Steve came in again and said Botman done very well for us last year. Yeah, I thought as far as the crazy money signings go, when you then look at Botman, what a steal. Really good bit of scouting.
One of the signings of the season, without doubt, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Where is it? Oh, sorry, I felt something on my foot and it's the pug licking it, which is lovely. Big up to the pug inside the house. Big up, Steve, always a massive supporter. Foggy Foam has said, what's your thoughts on Dyer back or gone in January? I would assume, from my point of view, I've got a feeling this guy will sign a pre-contract agreement with someone in January, won't he?
I agree. If he's here beyond January, I think Ange is in trouble with his job. I really do. I think that
see him. I can't see him staying.
We've often talked about this, player power group within the club. Hugo and Dyer part of it. The longer they stay, the harder it's going to be for Ange to do his job, in my opinion. Unless his overriding personality has put the stamp on everything. Levy's having words with them as well and saying, you either toe the line or you get any contract ripped up and he can head out the door right now. Maybe that's going on. I certainly hope so. But that's the worry, isn't it? I mean, if Dyer stays, it's hard to keep unity in the team because he isn't going to play. Yeah. I said on the Tottenham on tour earlier today, the only way Dyer makes a bench this season is if he becomes a carpenter.
I need a carpenter at the moment, actually. I need a carpenter. So Dyer, if you've got some time, get round here. Look, the last thing I would say on Eric Dyer is, for me, I'll be disappointed if we get an injury to Van der Ven or Romero. I'm sure you will at some point. It's just inevitable. I'll be really disappointed if it's this guy starting over Phillips at the moment. I'll be really disappointed. I don't think Ange will, though. I think Ange will look to the future and see the bigger picture.
Dyer literally cannot play this football. He just can't.
I agree.
He'll be standing on the halfway line, pointing at a player 30 yards away.
Yeah.
He just can't keep up with it.
Yeah. By the way, what Martin Morton said, most underrated centre-back of his era, Des Walker. Oh, class. I should have mentioned him. Absolute class centre-back. Pedro, apologies, my man. Listen, I'll keep saying the same thing. I need to have the ads in because I have to earn revenue. YouTube have to earn revenue. And what I have done, though, some YouTubers set them to non-skippable, so you have to watch them. I've set them all to skippable. You just got to press that button and they go away. But unfortunately, mate, going full time on this, I need to make some revenue somewhere, my man. So I do apologise, but I don't apologise. I think people will understand that.
YouTube is the problem, not the creators.
Yeah. And listen, I get it, right? They have to get paid. We have to get paid. It's just kind of like the food chain. Big up just before. I've got a couple of comments I wanted to read out before we do. Hang on 1 second. Let me cancel that. Here we go. Have a look at this, Kuva. I'm sure you've probably seen it. But in the last few minutes, it has just been announced that James Maddison has won Premier League Player of the Month for August. You know what? You know why this makes me doubly happy, Kuva? Because this is who I've personally wanted for years and years and years. And if all the rumours were true that, like, Conte had the chance to sign this guy and turned it down, then it just makes me think, what were you doing? Now I feel like, look how good this guy is. He is class, isn't he, Kuva? He's absolutely class.
I think bit of shaping on your beard. Do your hair slightly different. You could look a little like him as well.
Yeah, I've got good footwork like him as well. Yeah.
It's fully deserved. I mean, he's been wow. It's turned this club around. It's just everything about him. It's so focused on get towards the opposition's box, make something happen, dribble it through himself, get a killer pass in, get a shot off, whatever. He's looking to hurt the opposition all the time. And when we saw against Bournemouth and that tactic of him dropping deep to nullify their high press, and we'd have the numbers deep in our half, and you saw the way he was coming forward with the ball in there, I just thought, this man's doing everything. He's Roy of the Rovers at the moment. He's a fan favourite already. Guys, like ultimate sort of pin-up hero for me at the moment. I mean, how can you not love everything he's been doing so far?
Yeah,
I just want to see more goals, more assists. It's happy times, and he's sort of the front runner for it at the moment. Everything good about the team is coming through him when we attack. Much the same as everything solid coming from the back. It's like you look at Romero and perhaps Van der Ven a little understated with it, but then you got Basuma ahead, and you're going wow there as well. There's so much going right with this team. Maddison is the one that makes it all tick over. Magical player.
I agree, because you know what? You can have that power in the midfield. You can have that defensive cover. But every team, you've got to be creative. You've got to find some creativity. Even now when I watch Liverpool, Szoboszlai's added a little bit more of a spark from midfield. I'm not knocking Fabinho, Henderson, Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago and Milner, really good footballers. But Szoboszlai for me adds that little bit of, let me create. How can I try and create a chance? How can I set the forwards free with a pass? And Maddison, for me, I just love him. I think since Eriksen, we have been crying out for this.
How many goals and assists is it so far this season?
4. He's got 4 goals and assists in 4 games.
There we go. Goal contribution per game. Can he keep that going all season? You know what? Why not?
Well, I brought up some stats the other day, Coover. In his career, he's played 320 senior games, and he's got 160 goal/assists. So he's a 1 in 2 guy. But listen, 1 in 2 is phenomenal in your career.
Look at the teams he's been playing for as well. All respect to Leicester. Last season they were awful.
Absolutely,
and he still managed it. And Norwich, they let's not forget, they've had seasons where they've been in the Premiership and getting relegated. And it's he's come from humble backgrounds, and he's got better and better and better, and he's got some talent around him that's going to benefit from it, and it's going to elevate his numbers. I mean, a goal a game for the whole contribution for the whole season. Like I said, why not? I just believe in him. I believe in everything we're doing at the moment.
Kuva, Leicester got relegated, and he managed 20 goal contributions in 30 Premier League appearances.
Yeah.
Like, That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is a midfielder. If you had a striker who had 20 and 30, you'd go, all right, that's good. But
yeah,
a midfielder, I think he's brilliant. For me, I've said it. This is one of the things that got me called racist. I said, for me, hands down, for me, only for Richard Savva, full name myself there, for Richard Charles Savva, right? Triple full name myself there. He is our best player. For me, he is the one that transforms this team. Yes, centre-backs. Yes, Basuma's change. Yes, a doggy. Yes, a new keeper. For me, all of that wouldn't mean anything if we don't have James Maddison pulling strings. Just for me.
Absolutely. Well, you know me, mate. I'm all about attacking football. Defence and all that, it's all well and good, but it's only to provide your attackers with the ball. So, yeah, I'm all over him. He's just, it's everything I want to see in the footballer. Vision, a bit of daring about him. Not scared to try the impossible things at times, because sometimes they come off and just takes your breath away. This is this kind of player it's reason enough to go and watch football. Even when the team's struggling, he is just something special. He really is.
And he's got a really good personality as well. Like, I know a lot of people, like last year, I remember so many people saying to me, oh, but he's got a really bad attitude and you don't want him. And I remember thinking to myself, first of all, how do we really know that? And second of all, I don't care. I want a really good playmaker. But it looks like from what I can see, he looks really mature. He looks to be taking responsibility on his shoulders. And for me, Gareth Southgate, if you play James Maddison in the hole and Phil Foden to the left and Saka to the right, I think you've got a good chance of winning the Euros. Whisper it quietly, though, because he doesn't like those flair players. A couple of super chats. A couple of comments here. By the way, we're on 11,104. Come on, let's get to 11,110 at least. It's only 6 people, Coover, isn't it? 6 people. Can we do it? 6 people, please smash that subscribe button. I'm putting the link in the chat now. And big up to everybody who has liked the show. We've got 250 likes exactly right now.
You're on form today. You even managed to hold up the right amount of fingers.
I know. 7. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just usually you put up the wrong numbers, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible with it. Counting is not my strong point. Big up, Philly has said, if Basuma was that much of a leader, he would have been named captain or vice captain. I mean, it's a bit harsh, isn't it? There's only X amount of positions you can have in the team. I mean, sorry, Phil, it's a little bit harsh for me. What do you think, Coover?
No, he may be quite right. Perhaps Basuma's some people just like to go out there and get told what to do and just go and do it the best they can. He may be just that kind of person.
But that's not what Thingy said, was it? Postecoglou said that he saw leadership in him and said to him, you're one of my leaders. I want you to now do this, and that. But I'm guessing there's probably 3 or 4 that he's said that to.
Maybe he's the leader by example, where the others he's chosen. Yeah, that's a good word. I'll go with that. The leaders he's chosen this season better with the verbals. That happens as well. Sometimes the players want to be talked to by one player, but they will look to the what they're actually doing on the pitch to another. That can happen. Yeah. I don't know. It's good that we've got options, and if I'm just talking about leadership from different players, other than the 3 captains we already have, that's a good thing for as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, listen, I completely agree with you. Other comments, Strasbourg Steve has come out and said, your WhatsApp contact name now on my phone is Richard Charles Savva. Big up to you, Strasbourg Steve. Couvers will remain as sex god. Yes, everybody has got Coover in their phone as sex god, and rightly so, if the shoe fits and all that. Big up to you, Steve. Always very, very generous. James Hunter, Jesus Christ, James. I hate to be that guy, but a 0-2 home defeat to Sheffield United is incoming. Now, Coover, before you respond to this, I'm going to let you have free reign on this. Can I just ask, James, why? Like, why? Where's that come from? We're not in bad form, right? Sheffield United are not in good form. We're playing well. We're at home. Where is this 0-2 prediction coming from? Kuva, what do you have to say to this 0-2 prediction?
It's not happening. In previous seasons, the way we were playing with that sort of erratic football that I didn't really believe in, even when it was going well, I could see that happening. This season, this is a different animal we're watching now. We're relentless, and we are going to be smashing their goal with at least 20 attempts at the goal, as we seem to be averaging right the way through the season at the moment. Even away from home, we do it. I just don't see them standing up to us, and then I just don't think they've got the quality. They've got one or two players that are reasonable for the Premier League, but the rest of them are Championship players that did well last season. I just do not see it. But two of their best players left in the summer as well. Like you said, Savva, they are down there not playing well. We're up there and we are playing well. Nothing is there to, justify saying that they can win 2-0 other than a hunch or a gut feeling that we're going to go Spursy again. And I agree. Don't feel it, and a lot of other people don't feel it. This is different this season. We're all sensing it. The confidence is flowing.
Sorry. He gets all tangled. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's been scratching at my legs for 5 minutes. And I'm like, go away. And then he gets to the point where I think my legs can't handle it anymore. But Kuva, listen, I agree with everything, absolutely everything you just said there. I can't see any reason. Sorry, that's pug hair. I can't see any reason why we would be predicting 2-0. And another comment I liked, Gold Kaya said, Savva, hello, mate. Hello to you. Have we underestimated Kulu's impact this season based on the stats? Yeah. Kulu's legwork is number 1 at the moment with Bernardo Silva in second. I've got a feeling Kuva and I are going to massively disagree on this one.
Not entirely.
For me, great. Yeah, you've worked hard. I'm not knocking anyone for that. For me, that's a prerequisite of being a footballer. Yeah, you've worked hard. For me, I'm not judging Kulusevski on the work rate. For me, I need to see output. I need to see, as a fullback, here's what I would say. As a fullback of the other team, am I happy if all of Kulusevski's good work, Kuva, is going the other way, tracking back? I'm really happy with that. Am I more worried if all of his good work is going against me as the fullback, making me think, what do I need to do? Right now, I'm unhappy about that. So for me, yeah, he's done well in those attributes. But I'm an old school fan. I don't need to look at 15,000 stats about his work rate to tell me that I've not been that pleased with how he's done in games from one of our 3 forwards perspective. That's just me. I think he's got to do a lot more. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like partially I agree, partially I'll disagree. I'll start off saying it's the same thing. At the end of the day, if you've got forward in the team, you want to see goals, you want to see assists. That's the bread and butter figures. But we are scoring goals from all around the team. And
sure,
Kulusevski, I think the bit that's getting that it's under a very underwhelming part of the game, but it has been important for us, is he's winning the ball back really regularly. And he's also making himself available for all those passes and getting into that sort of formation that Ange wants to see, where we've got those options available. Anybody on the ball has a pass to 2 or 3 passes they can make. He is very much a part of that. So he's doing all the groundwork, but he's become more like a holding right-sided midfielder than he is a forward.
Sure.
So it's underwhelming, but it's working. Do we want more from him? Of course we do. We'd love to see him just get into the box a little bit more, chip in with a few goals, few assists, takes all the pressure off him. I think otherwise, I can't say he's been playing badly. It's just underwhelming.
That's all I've said, Kuva. Like I've not said sell him. I am underwhelmed by him as a player. I get it. I know we live in this stats-driven world now where people seem to think that a wide man's defensive duties are more important than what they do going forward. I don't live in that world. I don't care if it's 2023, Kuva. I appreciate it. I'm not knocking it, by the way. I've got a really caveat because people will hold me to this. Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I think that's brilliant. I love that side of any player's game, to track back, to work hard. Brilliant. But equally, when you look down the test of time, who are the forwards, the wingers, the wide men? Who are the ones we remember? It's not the ones that just work their backsides off, is it? It's the ones that create. It's the ones that give fullbacks problems. And for me, it's not just this season, by the way. It was all of last season. I'm just a bit underwhelmed what he does going that way, not this way. That's all I've said.
It's especially when we look, we remember how he started off at this club. He arrived and he was absolutely brilliant. And I remember saying it on streams. He's the only reason I could watch Spurs when he was in that form. I just didn't feel anything exciting about the team otherwise. But it just went, didn't it? It's gone. And it's been gone for a while now. So what sort of player have we got?
Isn't this slightly... but by the way, guys and girls, there's 385 of you in here. Keep smashing that subscribe button. The link is going into the chat right now at 11:26 UK time in the morning. But Kuva doesn't... I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's like a Iwobi, but this is the thing. The reason why I don't look at a player and judge by stats, right? If they're a striker and their game is to score goals, yes. You know, I get it. If you're a hold-up striker, if you're an Emil Heskey, I get it, right? But this is why stats can be very dangerous, because like Foxy said, Iwobi, top 4 for distance covered last year. No one would want to sign Iwobi for his hard work, would they? If you went and signed Iwobi, if Spurs went and signed Iwobi right now, would I be able to use the excuse, Kuva, to Spurs fans? But hang on. It's all about the work rate and the stats. This is what people like. I wouldn't, would I? I wouldn't get away with it.
You'd be surprised. There's always somebody that likes that.
Sure, but you know what I mean in general. If I say Spurs have signed Iwobi, no one's going to go, God, but he was top 4 for distance covered. Like, I don't know.
It's what I like to call the Sissoko effect. Look at his work rate. Wow, he's run all over that pitch today. Yeah, but there's no quality with it. I mean,
right.
What does that matter? It's back to that same conversation we always have and we agree on. There's fill the team with quality players, technically good, able to pass the ball and know how to build attacks. Yeah. You know, you want good footballers in first. Running stats, defensive stats, you know, they add to it. They can help you, sure.
Bang on, Kuva. Bang on. I want for me, only for Richard Charles Savva. For me, those stats are add-ons. They are, look how good this guy is at football. Look at his goals, look at his assists. And also, look at his hard work. At the moment, I feel because he's not doing actually what a winger should be doing, what we're saying is, okay, he doesn't do all that, but he does work hard. That's fine. No one's knocking him for that. No one's ever said he's not committed. No one's ever said that he doesn't try hard. I'm just a little bit underwhelmed. I can't help it. You know me, Kuva. I can't change my mind on being underwhelmed or not.
It's the obvious comparison to make because, let's face it, it's the best football team I've seen in my life, and that was prime Barcelona. And you could go there and have a look at the stats of Messi and Iniesta and go, wow, look at the ground they've covered.
Yeah.
Look at all this work rate. But that's not what you're looking at them for, is it? It's what they're doing with the ball when they get it. It's all those magical assists and goals. So one without the other is not enough. Great player is one that puts the two together.
No, I completely agree. And the thing is, I think what frustrates me, there are certain players I look at and I just go, I don't rate you at all. Like, i.e. Richarlison, you know me, I do not rate him, right? Football. I'm talking football. Please don't all start with the mental health and the psych. Football, I just do not rate him. Kulu, the frustration for me is you can see ability in there. You can see ability in there. So when he doesn't do enough for me, I always think, why? The manager's giving everybody this free reign. The manager's breathed, has breathed this belief into everybody. Everyone in that team for me is starting to stand up and be counted, other than him, if I'm honest. And I know people will say, oh, but he got the goal at Brentford. Okay, cool. He nipped in and got a goal from a few yards. Great. But I'm talking about having a proper wide man that worries the crap out of his fullback game in, game out.
Yeah.
And that for me is where, and this is where I agree with Philly, as said, oh, hang on, I bet I've lost it now. So there's loads of hard work is a given and a low bar. I agree. I can't, like, when people go, oh, Richarlison is selfless running. Yeah, it's clutching at. No one looked at the best strikers in the world. No one looked at the really good strikers or the average strikers, and their first attribute they mentioned was their running. They talk about, God, look at his passing, look at his skill, look at his goals, look at his assists, his heading. Oh.
On the flip side of that, this is how important it is to have the skill. Berbatov, he would be very low on that running stat, wouldn't he? Because he doesn't waste his time making pointless runs.
No.
He just saves his energy for when he needs it and can hurt a team. And my God, did he hurt teams. So that's where your priorities should be. If you're a big side, and let's face it, we are a big side. We might not be a successful big side at the moment, but we are still there. We're striving to be better than we currently are. You're not going to do that by just getting in work rate. You get in quality. That, at the end of the day, is what wins you titles.
Yeah, listen. I think what is going to be interesting to see with this whole Kulu conversation is we just brought in Brennan Johnson. Now, assuming we all know it makes an arse out of you and me, but assuming that Sonny stays down the middle, I can only assume again, and it's a lot of assuming, that Brennan Johnson will play the majority of his games on the right-hand side. If that's the case, then Kulu clearly isn't enough. I don't know. Like, clearly he will be the guy sacrificed if that is what we do. Like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
I would. A few weeks ago, I'd have agreed, but having a look at Solomon was interesting because he suddenly put himself forward a bit as being more of an option than I thought he was going to be. So we could see the likes of Brennan Johnson operating off the left. We could even see him
do we want that? Do we want to see another inverted winger that doesn't go past his man?
It is kind of what we do, though, isn't it?
Sure.
Like I said, last season, I remember saying it several times. If you're going to fix the likes of Sonny, there's only one way to do that, and that's you look to get him in and around the box as often as you possibly can, because he's all about finishing. Now, Brennan Johnson is also very much about finishing. That's one of his strengths. Yeah, he does.
I watched him in these last two internationals. That guy for me,
they're an exception to the rule.
They are. Okay, I've never seen that. I don't think this is a natural finisher in any way at all.
He's pretty clinical at Forest. He actually was. He got goals off not too many chances. I'm sure the stats back that up, but
not from what. Listen, each to their own. From what I've seen, I don't look at this guy and think he's a forward. I don't think he's a striker. From what I've seen, I don't know.
Thierry Henry wasn't to start with, was he? But sometimes
let's not mention his name in there.
No, we won't quite go there. But the idea of
Hoover in Brennan Johnson is the new Thierry Henry scandal.
Thierry Henry's just a better than average Brennan Johnson. There we go. Oh, big up, Alex. Just using that for a bit of fun. Sometimes managers will see different things in players, and they'll look at a skill set and think, I want to employ that in a different way. I think we might see that with him. He may surprise people where he ends up playing on a regular basis. But I think the added thing to him is just that all-round ability. He can get hold of the ball, travel with it at pace. That scares the hell out of teams. It also makes it very difficult to press the team because if you've got those explosive pace anywhere in that front line, you're going to be worried about it. You can't commit too far forward. Because the slightest error, and we are capable of getting out of the press purely by players like Basuma. Just turning. He's lost his man. Already you're beating the press. He can pick out a pass then. If you've got a three-pronged attack with loads of pace in it, that's a terrifying prospect for the opposition. So I think Brennan Johnson's got more than one string to his bow.
Sure,
I will be interested to see how it goes, but I don't think it's going to be just to replace Kulusevski. I think he's going to pop
I'm
up
interested
all over
to
the
see.
place.
I'm interested to see what he's got in plan for him. Listen, I'm fully behind Brennan Johnson. Did I particularly want him as a signing? I think I'm old and ugly enough to say he wasn't anywhere near my first choice. But you know what? He's joined. He's here. He's a Spurs player. Right, let's get. I'm behind him. I want to see what he can do. I don't think he'll start. I don't think he'll start the next 3 games. If I'm brutally honest. But this is a perfect example, everybody, of my microphone clearly changing from what I actually said to what people wanted to hear. I haven't demanded a single change, have I? I don't think anyone's heard me say. If anything, you've heard me say all week, don't change a winning team. I've literally said, do not change a winning team. Kulu right, Son through the middle, Solomon left. If you score 5 goals away from home and then your manager changes your front 3, I'm asking questions. Like I'm old school. I'm a little bit like, why? So Oliver, please don't do this. What happens is people then go on to other shows and go, oh my God, Savva's been saying that we should drop Kulu and put in. I've not said this at all. I've not said it. Big up, just a girl who loves Spurs. Big up, Kate. Please, everyone, get over there and support Kate. Just a girl who loves Spurs. Great content creator. Really good part of the Spurs community, and has a wonderful personality as well. And I'm not saying anything else nice. That was 3 nice things in a row, Kate. But big up to you. As said, 5-0 Spurs. We'll run them off the park, in my opinion.
Why so negative? Sort yourself out, go.
Yeah, it's going to be 7-0. 7. Big up. What I'll ask for, I'm going to go for another 10, 12 minutes or so. Please smash the like button. We have got over 390 people in here. We should get to 300 likes. We're on 276. And since we last asked, we haven't even moved up anywhere. We're at 11,104. Come on, 6 of you. All we need is 6. And don't tell me all 6 of everyone in here is subscribed. Because when I look at the stats after the show, it normally tells me about 45 to 50% haven't. 6 of you to help a brother out.
If you're watching this and enjoying the content and you haven't subscribed, you're a bad person.
Yeah, bad person. The link is in the chat as of 11:38. Come on, people, just 6 of you. El Dante, I'll just do a couple of comments and then I'll bring you back in, Kuva. El Dante has said, Savva, we just need to support Brennan Johnson. I agree. You have rightly said we can't get carried away if he scores, but equally you need to give him time. I agree. He wasn't my pick, but I want to see what he does. I agree. I fully agree with all 3 of those things. I completely agree with you. F1 2022 is best. As said, Romero is world class, and so is Maddison. We've got a bright future. I'm gonna skip past calling everybody world class. I think we've got to learn.
I agree, though. World beaters.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Marcel, you'll never walk alone. Tell them, Marcel, somebody should subscribe. That finally Premier League football is back. Absolutely. Goal K has said, with the chances we create, I believe Johnson will score. Considering Nottingham Forest didn't create much, he did all right. Listen, I'm not doubting it. We'll see. As I said, I'm not going to judge him on 1 game, by the way. He's not going to be judged on 3 or 4 games, whether he does well or not. Got to give him time. We'll see what he does this season. Good morning to this guy, Danny Kiriakou. Danny. How are you, mate? How's the bun? How's everything going? Steve-O said, Bellingham is better than Maddison in the 10 for England based on recent performances. Don't you think? Had a better start. I don't know, Koo. I don't see Bellingham as a number 10. I don't think he's an out-and-out 10. I think Bellingham is a central midfielder that drives forward. I don't see him as a number 10.
I think he's got the kind of talent you just pick him anywhere in the team. Just get him on that pitch. I really do. He can play deeper, or he can play a 10 for me. But like I said, if I think you'd agree, Savva, I'd have Bellingham playing further back and then Maddison in that number 10 slot. I really would. Just pack the play, then Foden and Grealish as well. I'd have all of those players playing.
I've always picked my England team. Rice and Bellingham as a 2, Maddison in the hole, Foden left, Saka right, Kane up front, and then you can rotate in players like Rashford, Grealish. You know what I mean? Like this is number 2 on the list of people who have naughty microphone. Naughty microphone. Changing what I've said. Savva, you really believe Johnson can't take on his man? That's your take on him. I neg to differ on that. I'm pretty sure I said the complete opposite. Like, I'm pretty sure when Kuva said play him on, like he might play on the left, I said, but surely we want people that will go and beat their man down the wing, i.e. on the right side, he's right-footed. On the right, he's going to take his man on. On the left, he'll cut in. I'm pretty sure.
Perhaps he just left out the beat him on the outside part of it. Perhaps that's all it was.
No, he didn't. Listen, you get to know these people after a while, Kuva. You get to know. Phil is Nostradamus, as always. With Johnson, it's totally different plan for Wales. It is Spurs. He'll perform better. I want to see where he plays. This is the big thing for me, because what I don't want to see is Sonny move back to the left. That's the thing for me. I do not want to see Sonny sacrifice to the left because we play Brennan Johnson through the middle, because I'm going to say it, Kuva. Sonny's a much better player and a much better goal scorer than Brennan Johnson. So I know who I want down the middle.
I think the way we set up at times, I'd prefer to think of the front three as all strikers. Because they do tend to go in. So playing Sonny on the left under Conte, no way. Total waste of a player for me. Under Ange, I see him getting into he could play on the left, but he's going to be getting into the box more, and that's all we want from him. Just get him in and around that area, and he will slot the ball home more often than not. I think we got options. I agree at the moment with Son playing through the middle. He's got a hat trick. I mean, how can you tell him no? You're not playing there next game. He's got to start there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We'll find a way with Brennan Johnson. May take a while. He might come off the bench for a few weeks. Yeah,
sure. And that's what I think. Again, I think it's. I just worry either way with this fan base. I worry that one game and he gets a hat trick, we'll be celebrating him as the world's best player. One game, 3 or 4 games he doesn't score, and we'll be knocking him to, oh, he's crap. I think he's going to need time either way. He's a young lad, but hey, it is big up Kate. So don't be rude. Sub to Savva. Absolutely. And Perchy, I have redirected everybody from this show over to you straight after. So big up to you, Perchy. Kuva, I mean, not one subscriber in that 20 minutes that we asked, but hey, bad people, bad people.
Absolutely.
Terrible. Oliver said Romero is universal class. I don't even know what that means, but okay, Romero, universal class. Good morning to Richard Pugh. I agree with this, Geeks and Muckleby. I love that name. Said Bellingham and Maddison would be two 8s with Rice holding. Yeah, it would be the Spurs formation. Bellingham for me would almost be your Basuma stroke Sarr, and Maddison would be your Maddison. It just works for me. H7 has said you Spurs fans are funny. We try our best. Danny Kiriakou has said, I'm good, Sav. New job going very well. Nice to see you boys, and big up both. Kuva, you sexy YWC?
Yeah, we won't go there.
Okay, cool. We won't go there.
But he's a YWC as well.
Okay, I'll find out from you when the show finishes what this means. Good times. Pedro has said, how many players do you guys think will score more than 10 goals this season? Let's stick to league games because, well, other than that, we've got the FA Cup. So league games, how many, Kuva? Who's scoring 10 plus league goals for Tottenham?
All of them.
Even Vicario.
Absolutely.
Even Big Vic from corners banging in 10, yeah.
I think Maddison and Son are given.
Shea given.
Yeah.
Just checking.
You started it with the goalkeepers, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. After that, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? I think we might see just a sort of general spread of goals over a lot of players. I don't know how much game time the likes of Brennan Johnson will get so far, so going to wait. It's too early to say. All I'm going to say is Maddison and Son. I'll put my house on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think Maddison will. I definitely think Sonny will. As I said, I want to see the dynamic. I don't know are we going to fall into a pattern where we have a set 3? Are Solomon, Kulu, Brennan Johnson, are these three going to be rotated? You've got Perisic as well. Can Pedro Porro get forward from right back and start adding in a few goals? I think 3 or 4 of them will. I'm just not sure which 2 after Maddison. I'll put Brennan Johnson in there. I'll show some faith. I'll go Brennan Johnson, Son, Maddison, and I don't know, will Kulu. This is my thing. Does Kulu have 10 goals in him? Is he a 10-goal a season man? Because he's never been. Go on. I'll stick Kulu in. Kulu, Brennan Johnson, Maddison, Son. I'll show my love and support. I don't think Solomon's a 10 season, but I think he'll get a lot of assists. I'll go with those 4. For everyone that calls me negative, I'll go with those 4 to score 10 plus.
Here's one, a bit of an outside shot, but he's that kind of player, a doggy.
Yeah. He's I think for me, we're looking at 6 or 7. I reckon he'll get a few goals.
I agree. That's more likely, but I wouldn't put it past him.
No, absolutely. Absolutely not. Big up to absolutely everybody. And thank you to the one person that has restored my faith. We're now 11,105. So thank you so much for that. Let's go. We've got a couple of super chats. Tigaro, the single parent theory, has said, welcome to the new Spurs. The future is bright and I'm excited finally. Listen, I am excited, but I always, listen, been there, seen it, done it before. For me, the biggest thing I said yesterday, Kuva, was you can have the manager that wants to do this. You can have the players that are buying into the manager. The big test will be, and I was having this conversation with Stel the other day. I was having a conversation with Stel on WhatsApp, and he said the same thing I agree with is, yeah, really, really good. Really like seeing the football. But the big part of this is going to be how do the owners back the manager year in, year out? And at the moment, we don't know the answer to that question. We don't know. People can pretend, but we don't know.
We certainly don't. All I'm really excited about is there are signs that we are changing how we're going to be doing this. And I think that it was going to end a few illusions for some people, some of our fan base. So we're not going to be going out and signing the Bastonis for 90 million, that sort of thing. But I think we are going to be getting some young players in on a regular basis and giving them a chance, giving them a path into that first team. And I think it's going to be an exciting time ahead. But I think people are going to have to be a little bit patient with it. We're not going to be spending big. That is not what this club does. We have got to find a different way. And adopting that sort of Brighton role, Ajax role, Dortmund, Sevilla type route, I think that's the sensible way for us, accepting that we can't get rid of these current owners. If the ownership changes, who knows? Sky's the limit. But I think that is the way forward. I think a lot of us have been calling to see youngsters getting into the team. There's nothing better with Spurs, and this goes back decades, than seeing one of the young lads coming from the academy, getting into the first team, and you just go, he's one of our own. It's a lovely feeling. It really is. It helps with a sense of family as well. Sense of tribalism as well. It's all part of it. I think that is the route we're going down at the moment. It's early days, though. It can all change at the drop of a hat. We know we've got a chairman that has shown that he will go completely, wildly different directions with one manager to the next. Let's see a bit of stability this time and an actual plan. I feel like we're putting one together.
Yeah, I think that the key thing for me is, and again, listen, I love it. I do. I love the positivity, and I think I'm way more positive than I've been for many, many years. Yeah. But listen, I make what Stel said absolutely correct. The litmus test will be when we get to a position where we're there, and Liverpool, Arsenal, City, whatever are there, and you can see that we're within touching distance. That's the moments. What do we do? Because we've seen this under Redknapp. Everyone got really excited, me included. I'm betting you were the same. And then we got to those windows where you're like, go on. And it was like, oh, well, that's well underwhelming. Right? Poch, got to be the biggest example of it. You got that team and you're like, come on. No. Now, you've got to, first of all, we've got to get to those stages. Let's be fair. It has been 4 games. We've got to get to those stages and those positions that Redknapp and Poch put us in. First of all, we've got to get there on Postecoglou, which time will tell. It's only been 4 games. But when we get there, what do the owners do? Yeah, you can keep buying young players, but at some point, the quality that normally wins you things is adding that little bit of stardust, i.e., when Liverpool were building a team and they were really good, but then when Alisson, Van Dijk, and you go, like game changers.
It's not just that though, is it? It's the bench. You remember Liverpool struggling? Yes. They could bring on the Danny Ings, yes, or a Jota or even Origi. He wasn't the greatest player in the world, but he did chip in with a few off the bench. Certainly did it in the Champions League final against us, didn't he? He scored the second goal, if I remember rightly. Put the game to bed. When I looked at us and prime Poch years, and I'll always go back to this. This is why I think Pochettino gets too much stick. I looked at some of those games when we were chasing Leicester. Who have we got on the bench? And I looked at it, and there was Vaughan, Davis, Dyer, Bentaleb, Mason. Who was the Njai, was it? Or Nkudu? I've forgotten which one there. Njai, possibly. And I just thought, who's going to change the game if we need to win something here? We're in a constant stalemate in the game, or falling behind. There was just nothing. And that's the difference. That falls in with the same point. When we get to that level and we're just below,
right?
And we just need that bit extra. It's just never been there for us.
But this is what I mean. You know, I can't turn around and go, things have changed under the ownership because we've got an 11 that Ange's moulded. You know, Poch moulded an 11. I will know things have changed when finally we get rid of the deadwood. When finally we're bringing in players that, you know, when you bring in a player and you go, I get it. Yeah, that manager wants that player, not just filling the squad with, like under Poch, we had that very good 11 and then just filled it with Nkudus and Janssens and Njis and you're like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, there's no plan. So I think, thank you for this, by the way. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's face it. We want to see even what Chelsea do or Liverpool do. You know, we want to see a Reece James coming through the academy. We want to see the you know, all these different positions covered and proper competition coming from within our own club. Then you add to it with the signings from outside the club as well. That'll be a healthy position to be in. So it's just not one we've been in. Yeah, not for decades.
Yeah, no, listen, I completely agree with you. As I've always said, for me, I think, look, this is as I've got older, Kuva. You know, when I was younger, I didn't look at anything else other than what happens on the pitch. As I've got older now, I look at, okay, things have changed on the pitch at the moment under Ange. Great. First of all, it's 4 games. Second of all, to be a successful club, everything behind the scenes has to change. Everything. And I've just finished watching yesterday was the Newcastle documentary from when the new owners took over on Amazon Prime and how they're changing everything in the background. Everything from the training ground to the medical center, like the hydrotherapy pools, to how do they scout? Yeah, to how do they bring in more revenue? How do they market the club? All of these different things you look at and go, right, you need to implement that if you want to be a winning team. Now, fans will just go, oh, Newcastle, look at them. They're not as good as everyone thought. It takes time. It takes time. You've got to build and grow. And that's what I've always wanted from Spurs. It's not just, oh, we play really good football on the pitch. It's got to be, cool, what are we doing to back that up? What are we doing that when, I'm just going to say it like, I'm not saying this is happening because you know what fans are like, they'll go mad. What are we doing for when Romero gets signed by Real Madrid next summer? Right? Just hypothetical. What are we doing for when Basuma does a cruciate ligament and we got 6 months out? How have we built the structure behind that? What young players have we got playing to that level where you can pick them out of the youth team and go, right, go on. There's your chance. You play the Basuma role for the under 21s. Go. Right? These things for me is what City have implemented. Forget, the money they've spent on players, but this is what they've been implementing as a football club in the background, Kuva. There's so much more. There's a difference between being a good team and a very successful football club that wins things and sustains that good football. Sorry, long-winded, but
no, absolutely agree totally. That's why I say for me, we've been a club where we've only had door number one as the choice. It's always the same. Nothing really changes. For me, I've got this feeling now with what's happened with Ange coming in and what's happening behind the scenes as well. I get this feeling of I've just spotted door number two, and it looks quite tidy at the moment.
Right.
Let's just see where it goes. I want to try that one no matter what. So I've just completely bought into it. As you know, I'm going wild with hysterical delusionism. Yeah, that'll do it. Wildly delusional anyway. Loving what I'm seeing. For me, it's all about how I feel about my team, and this is what matters more than anything else. I love what I'm seeing. Can I see the future of it? Yes, I can. But we've got to see proof of it. We need the time. To see in 3 years if we're still saying the same things, or whether we've stepped up a level and we're really starting to go where we want there to be. It's going to take a while, but I think especially with when the emphasis is on youth again, we may have a period like the Gooners did, unfortunately, where the plan's in place, young players coming in, change the team over, and you might have to just settle for that. Not what you want from the club, but you can see where it might go. But you can see
into the future where, exactly. Long-term strategy. Now,
I think luckily for us, I think the effect Ange is having is more sensational than anything Arteta did at Arsenal. I think we're already playing the kind of football.
For sure. But I tell you why I never go into things like that is because it is 4 games. Because I'll tell you the reason I don't is because all of a sudden, I fully expect to beat Sheffield United. If you lose to Liverpool and Arsenal, straight away people go, okay, hang on, let's hold the horses. But listen, some of what the Newcastle fans in the chat are saying, we've got a few Newcastle fans, I agree with completely. I'll get there really, really quickly, by the way. Blaine Dev, big up to you, mate. And I mean, you were absolutely sensational at the weekend, very generous. Said, been really busy with work this week, so haven't caught much of your live streams. Just checking, did Jamie get the shirt through? Jamie, the shirt should be with Jamie today by 1 o'clock. So I have been speaking with Jamie. The shirt has been sent to him and was due to be delivered by Friday at 1 p.m. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next hour. If he's not received it already, I don't know if he's Instagram me to say he's got it or not. I don't think he has, but I'm sure he has got it. But big up, thank you for that.
Blaine. What a generous bloke. Really is.
So generous. So for anyone that doesn't know, Blaine, for all of you type people that can't even press a subscribe button that's free, this guy paid £335 in an auction for a James Maddison shirt and then didn't even want the shirt himself, gifted it to a Spurs fan called Jamie. So big up Blaine Dev. What a legend. Blaine Dev, tell them we should be getting 10, 15 people going, subscribe. Some of the big up Blaine Dev. I can't thank you enough. Some of the comments from the Newcastle fans, and we will be jumping in a minute, I'm sure. Perchy's going to set his timer, so we've got 2 or 3 minutes. But some of the people in the chat have said, and by the way, 4.6k was the target we achieved. So we beat our target by £600, which was brilliant. The Newcastle fans, this is the crazy thing about football fans now. Not Foxy. Foxy's got his spot on. So it's crazy that how could we be under pressure if we don't beat Brentford? The reality is that they are a year or two ahead of schedule. And I think this is the thing that people don't understand. I would urge any of you, go and watch the Newcastle documentary on Amazon Prime. It was brilliant. It had inside access to their board meetings where the Newcastle owners were sitting around and talking about change of strategy, how they're scouting players. Dan Ashworth's in those videos going, this is who we want, this is why, this is what he brings. And I found it fascinating how their COO is going out and building up these partnerships to bring in additional revenue. And I just thought it was a really good watch. And again, proud to be a Geordie, who's also a Newcastle fan, has said our best signing since we got taken over is Dan Ashworth. And this is what I mean. Planning, due diligence, planning, strategy. Don't just get onto the club. Don't think everything's brilliant after 4 games. Let's let it all play out. And I do need to get some super chats before we go because I don't want to run into Perchy's time. By the way, a lot of people are saying that Ange Postecoglou has won Manager of the Month. I don't know if this is true. Lots of people are saying it. I've not seen any.
Now we're losing to Sheffield United.
Now we'll, yeah, exactly,
isn't it?
Exactly. Absolutely. Big up, by the way. We should. Oh, there's 3 Newcastle fans. Well, Steve supports everyone, but Steve is in the chat as well. Big up. We have got just a girl who loves Spurs who said, big up the Cypriot Adonis. I don't know if she's talking about you. Or me. And the Scandi Sex God. The Scandi Sex God sounds like a Netflix series, doesn't it? Like a documentary about like a serial killer in Scandinavia. Hey, I don't know why.
Why'd you have to do serial killer?
I don't know. It just went there, mate. My mind went there.
2 or 3, that doesn't make me serial. Oh, sorry.
If it was in the same day, it makes you a spree killer, not a serial killer. So, tomato, all that sort of stuff.
Too much effort, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 in one day.
Have a plan. Have a plan.
Have a strategic, long drawn out plan.
That's it, yeah.
We shouldn't joke. It's not funny, but the world is crazy. Blaine Dev, big up. You're just too generous. Has said, would you agree that it's a more sustainable and easier path to promote talent from the youth through to being squad players than buying in players and hoping they fit a system and gel?
Yeah.
For me, both. Both. I think you've got to get the right blend of both. For the young players to come in, it does help when they play the same system in the youth team so that you can just go, boom, drop in. What do you think, Hoover? And we've got to go in like 1 minute.
Absolutely. This is why I always quote the Ajax system of doing things. You have that in place where there are always the youth pushing through to the first team. You will have occasional seasons where they're not making the grade. You just then on those seasons go out and buy just to replenish the squad for that season. But the overall strategy, bring through your own players. It's a very sensible and very sustainable way of doing it.
And just before we go, there you can see it. A double whammy for Spurs so far in the last hour is Ange Postecoglou has been voted the Premier League Manager of the Month award for August. Congratulations to Ange and his coaching staff. Listen, we've got to go, but what a turnaround! What a job this man has done so far.
In fact, forget the curse. We're just going to go out and stuff United anyway.
Yeah, sod it. I truly believe. I'm going to go 4-0, 4-1. I'm always worried that we will concede on the break. 4-0. Go on. I'm going 4-0.
7-3 as usual.
7-3. Big up to absolutely everyone in the chat. I have redirected everybody over to Perchy's channel. I will attempt one last time. Here is the link. Please smash it on your way out. Subscribe. Please like. Kuva, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Pleasure, mate, as always.
Been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the new channel members. Thank you, David Shire, for gifting out a channel membership. Go and support Perchy. He's one of our own. And he's my son. Please get over there. See you later. Take care. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.